3, 2, 1. Maybe this is going to be online. I gotta put my little chat box down. We are so laggy. Pop my chat out. And I have to, of course, unmute this. Hey, but we have audio. Perfect. Everything is going our way. And we're doing something weird today. Doing something weird today that was not guaranteed to work. So this is great. Can't blow everything up. So hello guys, I have two videos. I have two videos up right now of me. It's like dual view. Now why do I need dual view? I don't even need any view of me today, but because I had two cameras, I was like, you know what, why not? Why not? Let's just go all out and make it work. Today's stream is probably going to be rather short. I actually don't even need my headphones on for it. We're just going to be doing something really simple. We're going to download a 3D model of my computer chassis, and we're going to change the colors a little bit. I'm going to show you how to take measurements off of it, because I get a lot of people saying, hey, Josh, I need to know the distance between this and that when working with my SketchUp model or with my Mini. And I'm always like, well, go check out the SketchUp model. And I'm like, well, I don't have SketchUp. I don't know how to use SketchUp. So that's what I'm making this video for. I'm going to show you how to use SketchUp very, very basically so you can plan your mini mod. So today we have Brian Zoo in the chat with first. John, hello. Siegfried, hello. It's good to see you always. You're just right on time every week. And Bobby H878. Is that the Bobby H878? And Shingy5. It's good to see you guys. We'll get right to it. So I have 3D models of all the computer cases that I make and sell available to the public. So the public can do stuff with them because it makes it a lot handier when you're planning a mod and you need to know how much measurements or how to take measurements on it. You don't have to go model it yourself. So there's two places to get them. The first is by going to my website, which you can find in the description below, or you can go to the smallformfactor.net forum, which is probably the best place to get it. So that's smallformfactor.net/forum, also in the description. Now, you're going to have to make an account. So I'm sucking you in. I'm making SFF Forum the big bucks because you're going to register an account with them, but it is worth it. And then you can go to the resources section at the very top of the screen. Yeah, I keep looking at both cameras. Why not? Why not? Why not? I probably can close one off. Well, I don't know. This way you can see both sides of my face, just in case it becomes relevant. Okay, so the resource section is great. It is curated by many of the members here on smallformfactor.net, smallformfactor.forum.net. So we're going to be looking for me. Now you can search for the resource that you want. You can go to the top resources, which actually is the model that we want. You can sort by computer cases, motherboards, cards, cooling, etc. So I'm just going to click cases, just in case for some reason my Skyreach 4 Mini is not on the top. So I clicked cases, and we see right here, the Skyreach 4 Mini SketchUp model. Click it, and we can download it by just clicking this button, which just links to my Google Drive. I could download it again, but megabytes are rare, and I feel like I'm wasting them by doing it again, but I'm going to do it again for you guys, just so there's no issue here. And once it's downloaded, you can install SketchUp by going to the SketchUp website, which I'm going to Google for, sketchup.com. And you can download SketchUp Pro. It's a free trial for a little bit, or you can download SketchUp free, or you can actually use it right in the browser. I'm not going to do any of these things because I already have a Pro installed. But if you click Start Modeling, I believe it's going to take you right to the online version of this software. You have to sign in with an account that you make there. I have a Google account. And I'll just click this here. Hopefully it's not going to show you guys my password, but if it does, oh well. I don't want to do the tour. Go away. But I agree with terms of service because I have to. Hey, it's a more handsome version of me. Deleted. So let's see. Open. This is kind of cool, actually. New model. Nope. Count about. I've not used the online version in a long time, since it was in beta. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. But I know that you can. Oh, here we go. It's a little icon. Open. Add model. Oh, look, it's right here. I've already done this at some point. So basically, you could add a model or add a folder, upload the file to this online version. And no, I don't want to save this. It's going to take 1,000,000 years. And here we go. Now, this is the online version. This might appeal to some people because you don't have to actually install any software. But if you did want to install some software, that's what I'm going to be using, the other version, because I have it installed. So we'll just pick up right there. SketchUp Make. I haven't paid for my Pro license. I paid them so much money. All right, so when you open up the 3D model, you will see this. You're going to want to turn off shadows in order to work with this. So go click to the very top, click View, uncheck Shadows. You scroll in and out with the scroll wheel on your mouse. And to move around the model, you go to the Orbit tool here at the top. Then you can just click and you can drag and you can look at the beautiful model of the Skyreach 4 Mini. Now, this Skyreach 4 Mini, it's not completely accurate with the actual model or the actual Mini that you will purchase and own, but it is good enough to get your dimensions off of for doing your mods. I do plan on releasing a more accurate version later down the line. Basically what happens is I will craft something in SketchUp or craft something in Fusion 360, and then from there I'll start doing engineering CAD and submit to the manufacturer, and things are going to change over time. And when I have free time, I can go back and make the SketchUp model more accurate, but it still is accurate dimensionally. So if you're planning on figuring out how to fit components or you want to see how something will look, this will be great for you. So we're going to dive right into it. I'm going to do a couple things today. First, I'm going to show you how to change colors, and then I'm going to show you how to start actually moving parts around and adding different parts to the Mini. I can ban Corey. Maybe I'll do that. No, I'm just kidding. But he is one of my best friends, or my best friend, and a total troll. So don't listen to Corey, unless he's saying how great I am. All right, so to change the colors of your panels and stuff, in case you want to take it to a powder coater to see how it's going to look, you just can click on one of the pieces. I've grouped the parts of the 3D model together so they actually function and behave like they would in real life. You go to the paint bucket at the top, and then we have this color wheel. We also have textures that we can use, but I want to change the anodized color. I want to keep this anodized brushed aluminum texture. So all I got to do is drag colors around. I'm going to drag it to an orange. Or a red. And now I can check out some different colors for the Mini and see what it would look like in a sexy red. And again, I'm not really doing a tutorial on how to use SketchUp, but I just want to show you that it's real simple to use. So even if you never used it before, you can hop in and make some adjustments. I'm going to keep this kind of crazy teal color, and then I'm going to show you the next kind of level of how to use this program, and that's going to be hiding components. So I'm going to click my top cover. I'm going to go up to the top and click Edit, and then Hide. I'm not going to use any keyboard shortcuts because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. And you see that I actually have some components in here already for you guys, so you don't have to go model anything up or download anything on the internets. I already have parts in here that are actually not going to work in real life, just so you have them. So let's say that our configuration is a Zotac 1080 build. Well, we know that this HD Plex 160 unit is not going to fit with that, so I'm going to go to Edit, Hide, and we're going to have to move this bracket over because we have this HD Plex 400 down here. So to move a part, just select the part, and then I go to the Move tool, and then I can just click and I can slide it down, eyeball lining those holes up, and I'm going to press Control Undo because I want to, see how far I moved it. And I moved it 35 millimeters. So now that I know that I moved that 35 millimeters, I can select both these drives, and I can move them also 35 millimeters. And it's going to snap, or pretty much in place. At the bottom right here, I can change that to 35 if I want to. So this is now the configuration for except for this, a 1080 mini build with an HD Plex 400 in the front. So you can see how things are going to be fitting. And you can see also how little room there actually is to add stuff in. So when people are saying like, well, can I add a radiator or something to the Mini? Well, that's just not going to be possible. And you have the 3D model right here, and you can see basically how much space is taken up in the Mini. So there's some parts in here already, but I want to do two things. I want to actually download the Noctua NH-L9i and put it in this model so you can see what that process looks like. And then I'm actually going to quickly model this Vive wireless controller part and then stick it in my build. So right now I'm going to answer some questions, if there are any. I'm kind of off kilter, so you can see I'm not doing a very good job right now interacting with the camera, but it's a kind of a new setup. Tom Brown says, when are the HD Plex power supplies available? I don't even want to answer that, but we all want them to be available now. Siegfried asks, why is everyone set up for the Zotac instead of the Gigabyte? The Zotac has two fans. Really, that's, I guess, the real reason. It has a bigger heatsink and it has two fans. The Gigabyte Mini work perfect in the S4M. So embellish, that's correct for the S4MC, but for the new S4M, it will fit perfectly. Either one you want to purchase will work great. And then Tom Brown says, instead of an HD Plex, since they're available, could I add the budget DIY eGPU via mini PCIe adapter instead and then plug two separate AC-DC bricks? Yeah, of course you could do that. I mean, there's plenty of products that are available. You have the mini box products. You have Gary's power supply products. There's lots of different options. And Siegfried says, but aren't Zotacs more unreliable? I think that the Zotac 1080, 1070 Ti, and the 1080 Ti are fantastic. I'm not a fan of their 1070 or below their cards. I don't like them. I think that they're made kind of cheaply in more than one way, and until they change that, I'm not going to recommend them. But the 1080 and the 1080 Ti are very well built. They are premium cards, and I've not had a single problem with them, and I don't know of anybody who has had a problem with them once they've been installed correctly. The Gigabyte, as far as the 1080, I've only used two Gigabyte 1080 minis. I have used, I can't even tell you how many Gigabyte 1070 minis, and they worked great. I really like those 1070 minis. They are hotter than the Zotacs, though, so especially in the backside, but that's something to take into consideration. But both are great. And Relday says he gets bad coil whine on his Zotac 1080 Mini. I think coil whine's a hit or miss. I've had lots of great Zotac 1080 Minis that didn't really have any coil whine, and then some that definitely have some. So I think that's just kind of like luck of the draw for graphics cards in general. Some graphics cards are worse than others as far as a larger sample goes. Like the R9 Nano, all of the R9 Nanos I had purchased, when I didn't purchase a heck of a lot, but like about 4 or something like that, they all had bad coil whine, with some being completely intolerable. All right, so what was I said I was going to do? I was going to download the NHL9i, show you to do that. So again, we're going to go to smallformfactor.net. We're going to go over to the forum. We're going to go to resources. We're going to go to cooling. And I know there is an NHL9i somewhere in here. There's also some other coolers you can try out to see if it fits, if you don't believe me that what fits or what doesn't fit. NF-A9X14, we're going to need this because this is the fan, so we'll click the download button. No thanks. You want the SketchUp version. I want to download it, yes. Do I have to sign in to download this for Dropbox? Okay. No. 1 second. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. And I think Kinks actually hosts the NHL9i as well, so... Oh, good. I think it's just not going there, but I don't really need that right now, so I'll be okay when it comes down to it. Okay, well I have my NHL9i open, and I just copy it by selecting it, hitting Command C or Control C or whatever your operating system is. And I'm just going to paste it right in the model. Easy peasy. Except I couldn't figure out how to download it because I'm totally an idiot. See you, Siegfried. Windfall's like, click the 3 dots up the top right, Josh. All right, let's give that a shot, since I'm being really, really dumb. Thank you. My window was halfway through the other side of the screen, so now I can totally see that side, but I didn't see that at all. I don't even know how you guys saw it. Ugh. So this was saved as a step file, obviously, and then converted to SketchUp. That's why you see all these horribly ugly lines. But no matter. Or STL, sorry, my bad. All right, so we have the NHLNI in our model. All I did was copy paste it over and drug it over to my motherboard, but now we have to actually line it up to see where it's going to fit. So to do this, I'm going to select the NHLNI and the A9 X14. Actually, I'm going to select everything, then I'm going to hit Shift to subtract those two things and the motherboard. I'm going to go to Edit at the top and then Hide. Camera on the right. Camera, standard views, right. I'm going to go to perspective mode, camera, or parallel projection. This is a disaster. And I'm going to move these around. And I know that this bracket right here touches the motherboard. Now those posts would screw up, but we got plenty of clearance either way. I'm going to go to the top, and I'm going to position this about where it's going to go on the motherboard. And then I'm going to go to Edit, Unhide, All. Hide my top panel again. And now we can see where our NHLNI is, and we can take measurements, and they're going to be fairly exact. So I'm going to unhide that again. Last. I want to measure it from the top of the fan to the top panel. So again, I'm going to select everything except the top panel and the fan, hide it, and then here's the tape measurer tool. Right here. And click the top of the fan, then we go to the panel, and it's going to snap by holding Shift down, and we have about 9.5 millimeters of clearance. Now here's another measurement that I get asked all the time. It's how much space do I have from the top of the GPU to the side of the Mini. So I'm going to hide everything that's in the way of that. Inside this model, I have several graphics cards, but the one that's installed and not hidden right now is the Zotac 1080 Mini because it's the longest one. And all I gotta do is hit the tape measure, hit the side, go to the top perspective, and we see it's about 30 millimeters. If I go to parallel perspective, we can see it even better. .29.5 millimeters. So I'm going to move this aside for now because I need to show you guys how to do a quick model of a card in case you need to do it. This is the Vive wireless card. And I'm going to show you to make one really quick. I don't have any calipers, but that would be a necessary tool because you have to have some measurements. So I'm going to go to the top. I'm going to sketch a dimension. I'm going to sketch a rectangle. So used to an actual real CAD program that we'll see if we can do this or not. I'm going to need some kind of measuring tool, even if it's a tape measurer. It's 3 3/4 inches. I'm going to take this graphics card I already have for reference. I'm going to copy it, paste it. That way we're going to have the PCIe connector, all that kind of stuff already modeled and accurate. I'm going to double click it to break through the group. And I'm going to select this backplate, hit delete. Same thing, double click. I'm going to get rid of these markings on the side. And I know that this dimension on this line right here is 1 7/8. Which is 48 millimeters. Draw a line there for my reference. I'm going to use the push-pull tool, select this edge, get an offset error. So what's going on over there? I got a hole here, so it doesn't want to push past this hole. So I got to delete this hole first, which is easy. I select the hole, and I hit delete. Now I have that dimension appropriate. Now I'm going to get the other dimension, which is 2 3/4, 2.75, which is 70 millimeters. It can't be right. 2.75 inches. Oh no, it is right because this is a PCIe 1X slot. Okay, that makes more sense. And I'm going to create a sketch on this profile. Make that go away. Delete this line. Delete that. And now I have my Vive wireless card accurately occupying space. And I could use that PCIe bracket. I could split it if I want to, but it doesn't really matter too much because I actually want to use the full length card in the Mini, and we'll just pretend the bottom one doesn't exist for now. So to move something to an edge, I'll show you how you can do it. You can, of course, move it X, Y, and Z just by going like this. But a better way of doing it would be to go to an edge, an endpoint, and then clicking another endpoint, like so. And now I have that inside my Mini. I'm going to turn this GPU into a single slot GPU and pretend that it is a WX5100. So to do that, double clicking. Now I don't expect anyone to follow this as a tutorial because there's better tutorials online, but I'm just showing you kind of the things that you can do with this program. Because when I tell people about it, when they're emailing me about getting dimensions and stuff, they just don't realize that you can use something like this. Going to move it to the half height mark, which is right here. The WX5100 about. Oops, I was looking at that wrong. There we go. And I'm going to move this again to using the point dimensions, endpoint, endpoint. And now I'm going to move this down a slot. See when these little red marks line up. And I can delete this bottom bracket because we already have that modeled in the computer. So now I have my WX5100 and my Vive wireless card in the Mini, and I can see how they're going to fit. And I'm going to have to use a bifurcated riser, obviously. Of course, when people are wanting to add this, they're wanting to use a full-size graphics card, and they're going to remove this back plate, and they're going to move the part elsewhere in the case. Well, you can rotate it if we're going to put it in the front. So we can hit the rotate button, select a point, rotate the card around. Oops. In case we wanted to make a custom bezel and then use, let's say, a M.2 PCIe ribbon cable like M.2 riser cable. No. I just saw one of these the other day. Maybe I have it in my bookmarks. That's not it. I'd have to go find it. Some music. But that's that. So now I can finish with this terrible tutorial. But people asked me today, I was like, what was I going to do for a stream today? Well, this is what I did. So now you can see how to go find the 3D model of the S4M, and that there's some basic movements that you can do. All right, so I'll catch up on the questions. Coil wine, just add caulk. Actually, you can add some glue on the coils. That can help, like some super glue. I would prefer epoxy. Is it possible to add a regular 120mm fan on the NHL9i? Well, see, that's the perfect use case for this, because we know that this is the top of the computer case. So if we were to put our little tape measurer here and go to the left and measure right here, we see 9.8 millimeters, so about 10 millimeters. And we know that this is a 15 millimeter fan, or it's actually, yeah, it's a 15 millimeter fan. So if we add that together, it's 25. So it's exactly the right size fit. And I think in practice, it just doesn't fit. It's a little bit too tall in real life, but this would tell you that there's absolutely no clearance between the top cover panel and the fan, and you do need a gap. The chassis height is actually based on this cooler, believe it or not. You need an air gap of at least 6 millimeters for the fan to function correctly. And if you want to be quiet, it needs to be about 10 millimeters. So that is why there is this air gap right here. So if you want to add a higher fan, you're going to have to make a cutout on the top panel. But right now, this cooler, this height is perfect for the Mini. Windfall's telling me how to model in SketchUp. I don't actually use SketchUp for modeling. I use Fusion 360, and this is what I do all of my CAD work in. But I have SketchUp here just to show people how to download it and change colors on things and add parts from the resource library. So when they're planning their build, they have a resource available to them to see how everything fits together. I'm terrible at SketchUp. I'm not a good SketchUp. You should follow a real tutorial if you want to get good at it. I'm just using this tool because it is completely free, and there are lots and lots and lots and lots of resources available for parts and pieces. And this is a bifurcated example, Windfall. So I wouldn't recommend learning SketchUp if you are using it to make a computer case, like if you're taking it to a manufacturer, but it's a fantastic tool to get your ideas out. I used it a long time ago before I learned how to use a CAD program. And if you're actually making the thing yourself, it's totally 100% fine. It's also good for 3D printing because you can export as STL right inside the program. So it's great. You can download stuff. There's lots of resources. It's free. You can run it in a web browser. So there's lots of pros for it. If you're actually trying to learn a real CAD program, Fusion 360 is really, really good to learn. It's hard to beat Fusion 360, just to be completely honest. But there's other programs that are far superior. So I hope I wasn't confusing people by using SketchUp, because I don't know how to use SketchUp. And I think I'm the best use case scenario for showing somebody how to quickly put parts in here, because I really don't know how to use it. And I've never used it on a Mac before. And everything looks different on the Mac. So, okay. The fan is 14 millimeters. Either way, I can tell you that a 25 millimeter fan, I think just barely, it protrudes the top cover just a teeny tiny little bit. You can't really get it on there perfectly, but you don't have an air gap. Okay, Tom Brown asks, would a second PSU or a 24-pin splitter work with 2 Pico power supplies and 1 brick? You don't need to do that because the Pico provides the power to the motherboard. You're wanting to get power to the graphics card at that point. 160 watts, I mean, that's a lot of power. And the Pico power supplies, by the way, can power up to 400 watts. They are tough little units. I have videos on my channel that are much shorter than this live streaming stuff that show you how to do that, but you do need to replace some of the wires. Zeb's asking me, oh, yeah, that is Sebastian is asking me how the Fractal Design Cooler ended up working. Sebastian is my friend over in Europe who managed to procure for me the Fractal Design cooler, which I did a live stream on a while back. So Zebs, if you are not seeing that, I compliment you and talk about your candy and all the stuff that you went through to help me out. But the video for that project is coming out soon. That's one of my next videos. I've been saying that over and over and over again, but I've had some real life stuff happen in real life that has eaten up all of my time. Dips Prosium says, any idea what's the smallest dual GPU case out there? The only one that I know of that's any good is the Project Orthus. Project Orthus. And it's going to be made now. Project Orthus by Lucas Digicon. But here it is. This is, I've thought about how to do this, and he did it perfectly. There's not really a better, more efficient way of doing this. So this is your case if you want the smallest possible dual GPU case. So there it is. It's being made. I don't know when it's going to be available. It's probably going to be expensive, but it looks to be well worth it. The left camera died. What will we do? Now I have to look at you straight on. Why aren't there any 4-way SLI MATX boards? I don't even know how to answer that question. I don't really have anything else for you guys today. That was it. That was it. That's all I had to say. And I actually want to get back to playing a video game because I am tired of working. And one of my friends turned me on to, what's it called? Into the Breach, which is just so awesome. It's like a mixture of Advance Wars and Mech Warrior and XCOM. It's just my kind of game, and I'm terrible at it, but I absolutely love it. So I'm probably going to answer a couple more questions and then skedaddle. Tom Brown says, have you played Kingdom Come Deliverance? That is the realistic version of Skyrim, right? It takes place in Poland, something like that. It looks really cool. So I have not played that yet. But I just don't have a lot of extra time to play an RPG like that. I can play a game like this where I can spend, 15 minutes before I have to run to the bus stop to pick up kids and stuff like that, but not a big RPG right now. I wouldn't consider Into the Breach Faster Than Light 2.0, but it's so cool that there are lots of crossovers between this game and Faster Than Light. I think it's made by the same people, though, of course. Sebastian says, I got myself a Dan case and joined the small form factor club, the high-end small form factor club. So, golf clap for you. Rocking 8 cores, 16 threads at almost 4 gigahertz with the 92mm Aztec cooler. Favorite build I've ever made. I want to know about that Aztec cooler. The Azactec is another way of saying it, I guess. But is a Dan case just so not venti that the Azactec actually ends up being better than like the NHL 9i? Because I can't believe that a 92mm all-in-one would beat the NHL 9i. I just have a hard time believing that. Because 120mm all-in-one can't beat the NHL 9i, so a single radiator core, a 25mm thick one. When Flash says I played Cave Story, I've never even heard of that. But I'm not really a huge gamer. I love video games, but I don't keep on top of it. So, which is nice. It's nice because I'll hear like a game's coming out, and then 2 years will go by, and then the game will be out on Steam on sale, and I'll be like, oh, I didn't have to wait for it. Tikuro says, I got the new HD Plex revision 1.6. I'm super happy with it. Larry gave me some supreme confidence to press super hard down on the tight 24-pin connector. Yeah, you should be able to pull really, as long as those little connectors don't pop out, you can bend them as much as you want. And I'm so happy that the HD Plex 1.6 is working out, because I have to address that every single day in emails. The HD Plex is going to be in stock soon, Tom Brown. It's just that he's replacing all the 1.4s that were not working, and people have been ordering the 1.6s like crazy because a spike in the sales went up for whatever reason. So it's just slow to get them in as far as delivery. Okay, are there any questions before I get back to where I can't really lie. I'm streaming right here. I'll check out Cave Story. Josh, would it be sufficient to mill a window into the aluminum bezel of the S4C and glue a vent plate to fit the 1080 Ti? That does work. The S4 Mini Classic has a 5mm thick bezel, and you really need 7mm to clear a 1080 Ti. So there's still 2mm there. If you use a vent plate like this on the 5mm bezel, it's gonna bow out a little bit. So that's why you pretty much need a 3D bezel, because I give you 7mm space in that notch. I meant a Mini with a 2080. Well, the 2080s are all still like, what, 11.5 inches or 10.5 inches, so we have to wait for a Mini 2080 before we can fit one in the Mini. And you can follow, yeah, I made a couple videos, I think, using a 1080 Ti Mini inside of an S4 Mini Classic. Windfall, my videos happen pretty much at 5 o'clock p.m. on Mondays, Central Time. When I say pretty much, it's usually 15 minutes late because I'm very bad at this. Do you think they will make any mini RTX cards? Absolutely. I think that Zotac and Gigabyte both will make a 1080 mini. 2080 RTX. Is that what we're calling it? RTX? I'm not really a big fan of them. Yeah, touring seems to be hotter, and doesn't really seem to be worth it. So I don't recommend waiting. Like, enjoy your computer now. Buy a 1080 now for less money, and enjoy that. Because guess what? I'm happy to say I was wrong, but I seriously doubt you're going to find any games that are going to have efficient, effective ray tracing that makes a big difference in it. It's going to be probably an NVIDIA feature like NVIDIA Hairworks that's going to pop up on 2 AAA games, maybe. So I just really wouldn't worry about it. And I don't even think ray tracing is a factor eventually. I think what's going to happen is that's going to be maybe, 10 years out, because video game consoles don't have it. And then by that time, you're going to replace your graphics card anyway. So I would not, unless you actually have a use for ray tracing now, of course, like you want to buy one of those instead of a Quattro card, I wouldn't wait. I personally wouldn't. But Tom Brown says he has the Zotac GTX 1060 3GB mini. He's happy with it. And yeah, I love the 1060. Love the 1060 because you can tune most games down to run off the 1060 just fine, even at higher resolutions. So, all right, I have nothing to add to this conversation at all. So I'm going to say goodbye. Good news, though. Good news. Next week, I said, screw it. I'm not waiting on the HDPlex power supplies anymore. So I'm going to be doing a highly experimental, highly dangerous build with some highly customized power supplies. I'm pretty sure they're going to get here in time. So tune in next Monday at 5 p.m. Central Time for a chance to see me kill myself. I don't really know how much pre-baking I'll do. I'll probably just put the live stream on and fiddle with it, unbox it, and see what happens. I don't know what I'll do, but I will at least have some components. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. I've already tested all of Gary's power supplies, and all of them are amazing. I've not ever had a bad one from him. They're all fantastic. If only I could get the ones I ordered quickly. But when you're a one-man army, it's kind of how it is. All right. Thanks for I'm doing a thought thing right now. All right.